Hi everybody. So today's class is inspired by me trying to think about how you might have a piece of equipment at home that might resemble something that we work with in our normal classes. And that's why I came up with finding a football in our garage. You might have a ball lying around somewhere. You might have boys, you might have girls, you might have grandchildren, and you might just have a simple football, okay? You don't want something that's too big, but also something that's got a little bit of support to it. So if you haven't got a ball, you can go through the routine just modifying without a ball. But really, this is what we're trying to resemble, the softball that we use in the class. And I'm going to use the football throughout. So, put the softball to one side, and we're just going to begin onto our hands and knees. So come all the way down, and we're going to begin and finish actually in the same way. So we're going to begin with a little bit of a rotation. And we're going to take the ball underneath one hand, a knee underneath each of your hip sockets, neck beautifully long and lengthened. Now I'm going to take the other leg out to the side. Now this is optional, I've done this quite a lot recently. I just really like it for opening up your hip. I'm going to take the back of the hand onto the ball, and I'm just going to start to reach through. And then I'm going to bring it in, and I'm going to push a little against the ball, and feel how I can rotate as I do that. And then take the ball through, very long lengthened spine, and then bring it in. My hand goes onto the ball, and I push down into the ball and try and rotate in the opposite direction. And again, so we push away, and then this time I'm doing a clockwise rotation. It's an anti-clockwise rotation, and now a clockwise rotation. So as I do these, I want you to be really careful that you are keeping your back beautifully long and lengthened. And then slowly from there, we'll just switch to the other side. So hand comes down, take the ball underneath the back of the hand, taking your other foot out to the side, very long and lengthened spine. And we're going to reach through, and we're going to bring it in, hand and push, so I can really feel a little rotation in the other direction. Reaching through, make sure you're breathing, and then bring it in and push a little down into that ball. I'm trying to keep my head pretty much in alignment with the rest of the spine. We'll just do a couple more, reach it through. Remember, the outstretched leg is optional, the ball can be optional. The last one, reach it through, bringing it all the way back and push. And then bringing that knee in, I'm going to take the ball, bring it up. I'm going to place it now onto the top of my head. So if this is uncomfortable for you, there are options. You can bring the ball down to here. You don't have to have your arms overhead if you don't want to. But I'm going to take it up here, and I'm going to press it down a little. Make sure that your shoulders are well organised, that the pubic bone pushes forwards a little, the tail is weighted, and creates a lovely length through the whole of your spine. I'm going to take an inhale to prepare, and on the exhale, start to rotate in one direction, bringing it back through centre. So again, we're rotating our thoracic spine. And again, so remember, thoracic spine, that middle back, is where we really need to be working on, mobilizing that part of our spine all the time, which actually assists with stability of our lower back, our lumbar spine. Do a couple more of these. Rotation, keep the hip bones all the time pointing forwards, rotation, and again rotating to the side and rotating to the side. Now from here, we're going to laterally flex. Now I want you to think lengthen. Lengthen first as you start to come over to the side. It's not about how far you go, all the way back to center. And lengthen again. Organize your center, and then lengthen out from your center. and all the way back. And again, to the side, really feeling that lateral flexion again in your middle upper back. We're trying to mobilize that area, and all the way back. I cannot stress enough the importance of mobilizing that middle upper back region. One more, to the side, and bringing it back. Now we could add a little to this, so we could lengthen and laterally flex, and then we could do a little rotation towards the ceiling, back down to the center, and rotate a little to the floor, back to center, rotate a little to the ceiling, and then rotate a little to the floor, all the way back. And we'll do 2 more of these going to the other side. So organize your center and lengthen from the center to the side. And we're going to rotate middle upper back towards the floor and rotate up towards the ceiling. One more, rotate towards the floor and rotate towards the ceiling. And from there, all the way back up, back up, back up. And we've got one more. If you need to take the ball off your head and take a little break, you can. One more thing we're going to do, and I'll maybe turn to the side for this one, is we're going to do a little extension. So the preparation is that you feel the length through your tail, perhaps the pubic bone a little forwards, hip bones a little backwards. And I now want you just to exhale and let your shoulder blades feel heavy. Now imagine as you inhale and then you begin to exhale that you could quite literally push the crown of the head in towards the ball and start to think about lifting your heart center. Be careful you don't overly flex into your low back as we extend and bring it all the way back. And again, think lengthen first. Hold on to your hip bones. Hold on to the bottom ribs. Think lengthen, 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 lengthen as you shorten that middle upper back. And now we bring it all the way back and slowly allow yourself to bring your arms down. So if you need to just flex and go the other way after that, please do. But we're now going to take the ball and we're going to do more extension. So masses of focus on getting your back going in directions that it doesn't ordinarily go in. So I'm going to take the ball to about the base of my shoulder blades. Maybe shoulder blades is more comfortable for you. Just find a position that feels comfortable. And then you're going to focus on your neutral spine. So be very careful that your back hasn't flattened like so, that you've curled your tail up. Find yourself into that neutral position and maintain throughout. So always thinking about organizing from the center first and then going on to our movements. We're going to clasp the hands together, put them behind the middle skull, feet not too close, not too far away, an imaginary glass of water onto both of our knees, and now just imagine you could lighten a little off the ball. Then we're going to slowly bring ourselves to a lengthened position. Make any adjustments that you need to. So just imagine right now that you are lying on a beach looking straight up towards the sky. And then I'm going to lengthen again, not allowing my low back to overly arch, and start to round up and around the contour of the ball. Take a little bit of length at the back of the neck, and slowly, without waggling our head, bring the head, the neck, the chest back up. Notice how the back hasn't flattened. And again, lengthen first. Now if you don't have a ball and you've decided to just try out the routine, maybe just modifying where you see fit, you could always use a roller here. And remember that we did a video a little way back whereby we had a makeshift roller. So there's always an option to do this. Now I'm really thinking about length before I go into that extension. A little bit of length at the back of the neck and bring it up and up and up and up. We'll do just a few more just so you can really get the feeling of this. So lengthen first, make sure that there's no tension in your neck. feel that you lengthen, you organise from that centre, and then you wrap around the contour of the bowl. Little bit of length at the back of the neck, and slowly bring it all the way back up, back up, back up, back up. I'm going to add a little bit of rotation to this. So we're going to bring it back, think lengthen first, and then slowly as I come up, I'm imagining my shoulder coming towards my knee. And then I bring it back through centre, coming back, 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 back. And again, start to rotate and think about bringing the shoulder towards the knee. And again, bringing it back, so we go into an extension and then into a flexion with rotation. Now be careful of that pelvis. Again, we come level. Now you can make this as slow or as minimal in the range as you see fit. We'll just do one more each way. Make sure that we keep a sense of flow. Remember, we're trying to create movement here. Bringing it down, and then we round, 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 and bring it back. Now you might want to just keep it at this level. So that is more of a base level. Lots of lovely extension. This is going to make it slightly more challenging. So I'm going to bring the ball now a little more towards my waistband, I would suggest, okay? And if it instantly feels uncomfortable, please just stop. Maybe there's too much air in your ball. Not going to do a huge number of reps, but just make sure that it is definitely the right position for you. And I'm going to take my hands back behind the middle skull again and pause. And I'm going to come up a little off that ball. So I'm trying to make myself feel as though I'm getting a little lighter off the ball. And then I'm going to bring it back, but definitely not as far as I did before. And bring it up. So it's much more about your abdominals, this. Keep reaching your tail away from you and bringing it up, 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 up. As though I'm trying to lighten off that ball. Bringing it down and lifting it up. Now we're going to add a little bit of our legs. So I bring one leg up without flattening that back out. So now we could just bring it back a little and add a rotation again towards that knee. Start to reach the leg out, the back comes back and come into a rotation. So if this is bothering your back at all, please don't carry on. If the ball isn't quite right or it's not for you, do not carry on with these. Just take it back a level. Sit and breathe, maybe round your back, hug your knees in towards your chest, and you can join us in a moment for the next section. But if you are okay here, we're thinking lengthen with a little bit of extension, and then it's flexion with some rotation. Reaching and bringing it in. Reaching it away and bringing it in. We'll do two more and bringing it in. One more and bringing it in. Place that foot down. We're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So I elevate first the leg. I'm going to just see how everything feels. And then add a little rotation. Now I'll add the leg because everything feels okay. And bringing it in. Again, can you focus less on your elbow to knee and more shoulder towards knee? Reach and bring it in. And reach and bringing it in. And reach and bring it in. And reach and bring it in. We'll do three more if you can. Watch the opposite knee. There's an imaginary glass of water on that knee. Find your weight between big toe, second toe if you're struggling. Just do one more. Reach, reach, reach. And all the way back in. Bring that foot down. Take your hands down. Push yourself all the way up. And take the ball out. Now we're going to do a little bit of roll up. I'm going to use the ball. You don't have to use the ball if you don't want to. Maybe you prefer to hold the ball in your hands. But I'm going to place my feet onto the ball, sitting super tall, bringing my arms in front, push those inner thighs together, And you're going to send your sacrum away in one direction as you bring it all the way down sequentially. Take your arms back behind you. Arms come up. Little bit of length at the back of the neck. Lift your head, neck and chest up. Make sure those shoulders are relaxed. And again, I'm going to try and send my sacrum away from me and lift up to come up and over. And again, try and keep the flow. We'll come all the way back. Now remember, if you need to bring your arms underneath to help you here, absolutely fine. Modify as you see fit today. And again, are you breathing? Preferably we inhale as we lift the head, neck and chest, and then you exhale as you bring it up to come over. So just make sure that you haven't got one leg that is stronger than the other and that the ball is moving from side to side. So an equal inward force from both of your inner thighs. And reaching over. Now enjoy. Shoulders soft. Eyelids heavy. Arms come back. And on this last one, arms up. Lift the head, neck and chest. Send that sacrum away from you. And if you'd like a little additional stretch, I'm going to flex through the soles of the, or rather flex the ankles, pushing those soles of the feet into flexion, holding somewhere that feels good to you. Push your seat bones away from your heels and take a little stretch. Breathe into the back and the base of the lungs. So right now I'm thinking that my seat bones both push backwards and my heels push in an opposite direction. Slowly restack low back, middle back, upper back, and eyes. Now, we're going to bring the ball underneath our waist. So, we're in this position here. Now again, a modification for you might be that you don't use the ball, that you don't like being on your elbow, or if it gets too much, just take that ball away and you can come all the way down like so. So don't go through the whole exercise thinking, oh, this is killing my shoulder. Just modify, okay? So the ball is pretty much under my waist. Again, it's going to depend on the size of your ball, but I'm not leaning down into it. Try and use it as a prop that assists you with that activation of your underside waist. Now ideally your elbow is directly underneath your shoulder, my front hand perpendicular to the body, neck is beautifully long. Now we can take the hand onto the top hip, or alternatively if you're struggling for balance it can always come in front of you. And all I'm going to do from here is begin to lift my top leg. Now don't collapse onto that ball. And then I'm going to reach that leg out, bring it back and lower it. Now the whole time we have a neutral spine, reach, back in and down. So neutral spine, always making sure that that low back is nice and soft, that neutral curve. And we lift and we reach and we bring it in and back. Lift from the outer thigh, reach, in and back. Lift, reach, in and back, and lift and reach and in and back. Now really try not to be heavy on that ball. We'll do one more and reach and in and back. Now lift and reach. And now we're going to go into bicycle by bringing it back, bend, forwards and reach. So I want you to try and use your front leg as a gauge if that's how far I come, forwards and reach. Back, opening that hip, in, forwards and reach. Now watch this top shoulder, don't let it roll forwards. In and reach. We'll do one more, and in and reach. Now we go the other way. So this time we'll bend, we'll reach back, forwards, bend, you reach back. Watch that ball, try and make sure that you're not leaning on the ball. Bend and reach back, forwards and back. Reach it out, open that hip out. Are you breathing? Reach. And we'll do one more. Reach, 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 reach. Now, forwards and back, forwards and back, forwards and back. Forwards and back. Watch you're not too weighted on that ball. Forwards and back. last one and back. Bringing it in, bringing it down. You should feel that in your bottom, your outer hip. You're going to slowly bring it up and we're going to do a little version of the mermaid. So take your legs into a little Z sit. Take the ball out to the side. And your other arm is out to the side as well. Now I'm weighting down through my opposite hip. And I'm going to now allow myself to laterally flex to the side. Take a rotation. Bring one hand on, the other hand comes on. And feel yourself rotating through your middle back. Now you can reach away a little. And then slowly as you bring that ball in, lift your heart center. And again, I reach away. And then bring it in and lift that heart center. Reach the ball away. And bring it in and lift heart center. One more. Reach the ball away. I'm pushing my opposite seat bone away. Bring it in and pause. Now from there, I'm simply going to lift, lower, lift, lower, lift my heart, lift, lower, lift and lower, lift, lower, lift and lower. We'll do 5 more, 4 more, 3 more. That's the back leg that's lifting. 2 more, 1 more. Hold for 10 and 9 and 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Slowly bringing it down. You can leave the ball as it is, bringing it all the way up and over. Drop this opposite shoulder, hip is weighted, hold the wrist and stretch. Again, lift the heart up, bringing it back, rotate towards the floor. Any opportunity to get little rotations in, we will. All the way back and down, and we'll do exactly the same on the other side. So just spin it around. Apologies, the ball's quite noisy on the mat, but from here we're going to bring it back underneath the waist again and reposition the new elbow. So elbow directly underneath your shoulder, top hip pushes away from you, and again you're not allowing yourself to lean into the ball. So try and stay weighted, pushing that top hip away from you. Now whenever you're ready, low hairline gently drawn in. You're going to lift and you're going to reach. You're going to bring it back in and pause. Now be really careful of the positioning of your thighs. If you're too far forwards with your thighs, you're going to end up toppling backwards. So just a thought about the angling of these thigh bones. Try and have them maybe somewhere between about 45 degrees, there and thereabouts, between that 90-degree angle. So we lift and we reach. In and down, lift and reach, in and down, lift up and reach, in and down. Keep thinking about pushing this top seat bone away from you. Top seat bone, are you breathing all the time? If you've got your hand onto your top hip, please make sure that that top elbow doesn't pull backwards. So that would look something like this. So your elbow would be pulling you backwards. So really keep thinking, little hip bone lights, lift and a reach. These hip bone lights are pointing forwards all the time. And we'll just do 1 more, reach, in and down. This time we lift, we reach, and we pull it all the way back into our bicycle. So we reach, we pull back, we come in and reach. Remember, you do not need to use the ball for this. Reach and back. And maybe you would rather just modify and just do some little clams. And in and reach and away and back in and reach. Really open that hip. Organize from the center, then reach out, pull it back, still organized in the center, all the way in and reach. Now we'll go the other way, bend, push it back. Imagine you're riding a bicycle backwards. Push and in, and really think about that opening of your hip. And in, and reach. Watch, there's an electric fence, by the way, underneath this top leg, and you don't want to get stuck stung by it by pushing the leg too low down. Remember your light on that ball. Reach it away. And last one, reach it away. Forwards and back. Forwards and back. If you want, flex and point. Flex and point. Watch that top elbow. And flex and point. Flex and point and flex and point. One more. And pause. Bring it in. You should feel it in here. And give it a little tap if you wish with the heel of your hand. Push yourself up. We're going to do some mermaid into our little Z position. Take the ball. You're going to slowly start to bring it out. You're going to rotate around. There's a little bit of reorganization of your hands. Feel the middle back rotating. Breastbone trying to face towards the ball. And we're going to reach away a little and bring it up. And again, reach away a little. And I'm thinking length through my sacrum, all the principles of extension. And shortening that middle upper back, reaching away and shorten that middle upper back. Reaching away and shortening your middle upper back. And just do a couple more, reach and shorten. And again, reaching and shorten. And then slowly from there, you can bring it all the way back in. Taking it up to come over. Hand, push this opposite hip down as you come up and over. Now a little rotation towards the ceiling and back down. And a little rotation towards the floor. All the way back, all the way back down. And we're going to bring it to the front so that we can now do a little bit more extension. So we've sort of primed the back for a little bit of our swan. So we're going to bring it down again. Now again, remember, you don't need to use the ball. You might think, oh no, wrists are maybe a little uncomfortable or shoulders are bothering me. So you might stay into your capital E position. You might just cue some swan resembling dart positions. Remember, all of the cues are very, very similar. So these are your options. But if you can, we're going to take the ball. Just make sure the ball doesn't have to pull up and over a chunky mat. So position yourself well. And I'm going to begin with my head reaching straight down. Now slowly from there, take each of your hands onto the top of the ball. And I'm going to bring my thumbs together like so. Think about, again, the organization of your center. So you're going to think very much about lengthen through the sacrum, lengthen through your thigh bones. Really focus on just how weighted naturally your pubic bone becomes. And then slowly, if you note, my elbows are not touching the floor and there is a little bit of a bend in the elbow. The shoulder blades are nicely relaxed. I'm going to let the back of the head come up through the arms. That may be enough for you. I'm feeling that I'm drawing the bottom ribs in and bring it all the way back down. And again, an inhale to prepare. Organize your center as you slowly begin to pull the ball a little way in. That might be, again, enough for you. Making sure that your shoulders are stable. Be careful that you haven't just lifted your head up. And again, we'll bring it all the way back down. So if you feel all is going well, reach your thigh bones away from you. The pubic bone is weighted. Let the back of the head come up. I draw the ball a little towards me and then maybe a little more towards me still, shortening that middle upper back. Send the sacrum away from you, bottom ribs in, and bring it all the way back down. Now, if you want a little higher swan, just bring the ball a little more towards you. Inhale. As you exhale, lift the back of the head up a little. Draw that ball in and really feel that your shoulder blades are soft. You're not collapsed in your center. And slowly all the way back down again. Inhale, wide and full. As you exhale, the back of the head comes up, shortening that middle upper back, lifting, lifting, lifting. and all the way back down. So we've done quite a lot of extension. The back should be familiar with it. Last one, lifting it up and up and up and up. Really remember what it felt like to wrap around the ball at the beginning, not overly arching your low back, and bring it all the way back down. I'm going to leave the ball there, carefully bring myself up, and a little stretch. You might even use the ball to do that. You might feel that the ball is a useful tool. You might feel that you would prefer not to have the ball. Again, a little stretch to each side, if that feels beneficial. Stretching it out and stretching it out. Perhaps come into your box position, curl, lengthen from the tail, find a little cat stretch, find a little Blackpool donkey, maybe a little circumduction a couple of times one way, and then a couple of times the other way. And pause. Now from there, we'll go into little bridge. Again, you don't need to use the ball. Maybe you use a cushion. I'm going to pop the ball in between my thighs. Note I'm not doing my knees, I've gone for the thighs. Sitting super tall, take the spine the other way. That should feel really, really nice to go the other way after all that extension. Now bring the feet that little bit closer. Watch the feet aren't too wide. And you're going to slowly from here, just take a lovely breath into the back and the base of your lungs, and then let everything feel a little softer. So find your neutral position. Again, organize from the center first. Perhaps you're going to begin with arms out to T. Maybe that feels nicer for you initially. As you squeeze gently the ball with the inner thighs, and I want you to come straight up. Now remember, we were thinking about our little seat bones being like headlights. Currently they're in the dipped headlight position. I want you to now spin them with length through your tail into the full beam, the full headlight position. And then slowly from there, just melt your spine all the way back down sequentially. I'm going to do 2 more of these. Squeeze the ball first. I lift straight up. I lift the little headlights up. Relax your shoulder blades. And now melt your spine all the way back down again. Inhale into the back and the base of the lungs. 1 more. Squeeze gently as you lift up. And then lift those little seat bone headlights up to full beam and melt the spine all the way back down. Do you have one side that maybe is more willing to grip the ball than the other? These are little things that you can just think to yourself. This time I want you to lift straight up, feel those little headlights, and then straight down. And lift straight up, straight down, straight up, and straight down. Now the arms can come down by our sides. This time we're going to lift up and hold. Now think about those little seat bones. Not only are they assisting by squeezing together and assisting the thigh bones, but also they're slightly tipped up so you can really feel the bottom working and the opening of your hip. Now from there I'm going to squeeze the ball a little more tightly. Nothing changes in your setup, and you're going to reach one leg out. Bring it all the way back down. Make sure those feet are close enough underneath you. Be careful you haven't gone into dipped headlights. Keep those headlights up. And on an exhale, we take the other leg out and bringing it back down. So we're going to do 4 of these each side. Trying to keep your pelvis really level all the time. And back. Careful foot positioning. Squeeze the ball and back down. And again, reaching out and back. We'll do 1 more each side, reaching out and back. Careful, adjust every time if you feel that you're losing your initial position, and pause. Now from here, all I'm going to do is squeeze my thigh bones inwardly as I squeeze the ball for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pause. Can you check in with your seat bones? As you spin those seat bones up into your full beam, make length, no compression through that sacral region. And again, squeeze the ball. 10 and 9 and 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to go again. 10 and 9 and 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4, 3 and 2 and 1. Relax your shoulders. Large piece of fruit between chin and chest. And one more set from your thigh bones, not your knees. We 10 and 9 and 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 and squeeze. And now take your arms all the way back behind you. Melt your spine all the way down, 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 down. And slowly from there, bring your arms forward. Lift your heels, drag the toes, and just give yourself a little hug for a moment. You may want to put the ball away, have a little break, thigh bone circles, whatever feels good to you. Remember, sometimes just completely doing nothing feels nicer than an actual stretch. So now we're going to use the ball, and again, you do not need to use this as an addition. We're going to do a little rolling like a ball. So I'm going to take the ball back in between my thighs, holding behind the knees, create a little bit of length at the back of the neck, lift my head, neck and chest up. Push the thigh bones a little away from you. We use this quite often as a linking move in the classes. So if it's not for you then it's not for you now. But if you can, however many rocks it takes, I'm pulling that center in, that low abdominal region in, to bring it all the way back up. Now if you don't want to do rolling like a ball, you might just take, with the ball, you might just take the ball away. You could have your hands down by your side. You could use your hands to help you by your side. But if you would prefer, we're going to do it with the ball, slightly more challenging. So you can either hold onto your shins or underneath. If you hold underneath, that gives you the ability to just lift your shins up a little higher, which does make life a little bit easier. Make sure the ball isn't between your knees, it's more between your thigh bones. And as we ordinarily start trying to find that length in your spine, now draw good organisation from the center first, length through the tail, length up through the crown of the head, and see a C curve in your spine. Lift the heels, draw the toes a little back. See if you could find more length and flexion throughout the whole spine. The eyes might be looking beneath the ball, and then from the stomach, we lift the legs up. Watch you're not overly gripping on those shins. And inhale as you roll back. And then exhale to bring it back up. Can you squeeze that ball evenly? Inhale and bringing it back up as you exhale. My eyes never lift. Keep imagining that you are drawing back like you were doing a cat stretch. And remember, when you cat stretch, you pull in the belly button, the bottom ribs, the middle ribs, the upper ribs, the breastbone, all the way back and all the way back up. And again, inhale and exhale. One more, inhale and exhale, and pause. Now if you wanted just to be clever, you can start to straighten those legs out, lift your heart, find that little position of rocking, open leg, take it back, and all the way up and lift your heart. So little tips here. When you come back, try to really think back extension. And again, bringing it back, squeeze the ball and lift your heart. And again, think I'm behind my seat bones. Lift, 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 squeeze the ball, bring the legs down, take a little moment. So we're going to now bring it all the way down. I'm going to just do a little tiny bit of abdominal work. And again, you may not want to use the ball. I really don't mind if abdominal work really needs to be kept more simple for you. It might be that you just clasp the hands behind your middle skull and you just do very gentle flexion work like so. You don't need to lift your legs up. This is a considerable flexion for some people. However, if you would like to use the ball, I'm going to pop it beneath my middle, sort of, I'd say, nape of the neck, middle of the base of the skull, there or thereabouts. Now, from here, we're going to do a little bit of our classical, original abdominal series. So we're going to bring one leg up, and we're going to bring the other leg up. Now, simply from there, we start to reach one leg away, bring it back in, and the other leg away, bring it back in. So this is our single leg stretch. Reach and bring it back in. Now really think, organize from the center first, maintain that neutral spine. Now if you can, you're going to lift your head, neck and chest up. Just watch you're not holding too far underneath the ball. And we reach and switch and switch and switch. So I'm not resting as such onto the ball. I'm trying to use my upper abdominals. There's a nice looseness in the neck, but the ball is there almost as a little support to you. Reach and reach. Now if you need little breaks, please take little breaks and pause. Now you could always keep your head down here, so I've taken the ball back down, and reach both legs away and bring them back in. Reach both legs and bring them back in. Slightly more progressive, lift the head, neck and chest, reach both and bring them back in. Don't let your back overly flatten every time, and bring them back in. More of a challenge, ball comes forwards. Reach, notice how the arms are no further back than my ears. Reach and bring it back. Please inhale and exhale and inhale, and we'll just do one more, and inhale and exhale. You could take a moment, allow your head to roll to one side, back through center, rolls to the other side. But we're now going to try our crisscross, just a little roll from side to side again. So from here, I'm going to take the ball back behind the middle skull again, back to 90-90 with your legs, and I'm going to reach one leg away from me. And now slowly from there, I elevate the head, neck and chest. Remember, I'm not holding my fingers too close to each other. And I'm going to rotate my shoulder towards the knee. And then I switch shoulder towards knee. Don't push the ball too hard into your head. Allow there to be a sense of freedom. It's just a middle back rotation. And a rotation. And a rotation. And a rotation. Keep looking miles away from you. Feel that middle back working. Rotation and rotation. We'll just do two more and one more. Pause, take the ball out, and if you need a little break, please take a break. At the finale, reach both the legs and the arms straight up. Now, if this is too difficult for you, you could always go into bent knee here. But if you can, we reach up. And I'm going to keep my left leg as it is as I take my right towards the floor. From the abdominals, we lift that leg back up. We're going to reach and bring it back up. If you need a block underneath your head here or a small towel, please take one. I'm working on the stability of my shoulders, keeping that ball directly above the heart center and up. And we reach and bring it up. Very, very stable through your center, through that low hairline and back up. We'll just do one more, reach and all the way back up. Bend your knees, hug in for a moment, and now reach everything away from you. Super long and lengthened. Take a moment. Allow your hips just to come out to the side. Allow your elbows just to bend for a moment. Allow everything just to feel soft and relaxed. And then I'm going to go back to that lovely straight and stretched position. Push the big toes together. If you can, we do a roll up with the ball. Otherwise, leave the ball by your side and allow yourself slowly, slowly, slowly to come up. However you see fit. Reaching it forwards. You could always take the ball down and encourage yourself just to stretch it out. Remember when we were stretching before, sometimes just release your seat bones. Pull the seat bones away from you as you flex deeply through those ankles. You're getting a lovely hamstring stretch there. Restack, low back, middle back, upper back, and eyes. So we're going to begin, or rather end, as we began. So I don't want you to leave with a spine that feels at all stiff. And so we're going to take one leg out to the side, hand is flat, find that neutral spine. We reach through and push into that ball and find a rotation. Reach through. I really don't mind the position of the hand as you reach through. We'll do 2 more and stretch as I push into the ball, pushing a rotation in the other direction. Reach through and push, push, push. And then slowly from there we do exactly the same on the other side for 4. Breathe, wide and full. We reach through and push into the ball. Reach through, feel that rotation and push into the ball. Reach through and push into the ball. Remember, you do not need to use a ball here. And push into the ball. Bringing it down with each of your knees, all the way back up. Bring the ball onto your head. I'm pushing down a little. Remember, you don't need to. You might just be here in this position, allowing your hands to come down. This might be better for you. Just however you see is most appropriate. And then I'm thinking organization through the center as I start to lengthen and lengthen, and almost imagine every rib, one at a time, starts to release and allow that lateral flexion all the way back up. And again, centering first and then lengthen. Imagine every rib just parts a little and all the way back up. 1 more each side, coming across, think lengthen, and then we can reach upwardly. Feel a little rotation and back and towards the floor. Be careful you don't push your bottom out. And all the way back up. And again, organize from the center first of all, and then we lengthen, coming up to come over. And then we could go up towards the ceiling and back and down towards the floor and back and all the way back. And we're just going to do a little extension to finish. So slowly from here, think lengthen your whole spine. Imagine you're about to do the swan and you thought about reaching your sacrum long and lengthened. Your hip bones drew back a little bit. You could feel that your belly button was drawn away from the mat. And now imagine that you could lengthen first into the crown of the head, almost pushing that ball away from you. Imagine you're being lifted by your heart center. Try and wrap and wrap and wrap and wrap. And then bringing it back, and we'll just do 1 more. Again, think about the organization. There's supersonic length in the spine. The tail is weighted. The seat bones are drawn a little towards each other. So they assist with your centering as you really think about length. Pull those seat bones towards each other, all the way back. And then just bring the ball down in front of you. And just hold it maybe round about your belly button. And I want you just to take a wide full inhale. And exhale. And this time allow your shoulders to lift a little. Inhale. And sort of circle them back and down as you exhale. And again, inhale. And back and down as you exhale. And that is us for another video. sending me any comments, requests. I hope you're enjoying them. I hope you enjoyed that. Remember, you need to use the ball, and really look forward to seeing you for the next